Hello, everybody. Hey. Hi, and welcome. Welcome, Michael. Welcome, Jen. Hello. Hey,
No.
we
Hello.
are here. We're announcing a new show, Spiritually Imperfect, and I'm really, really excited just to get into the energy of the show and just hearing straight from Michael and Jen what it is and what it means to them personally. So, we're going to be broadcasting officially the launch in February 14th, I believe, and it is going to be on Fridays at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. And so I just take it away from here. Michael and Jennifer, talk about what the show means to you.
Jen
Go ahead,
first.
Michael. Jinx,
Want me to go first? I'll go
you're
first.
first.
Everyone's
Okay,
saying
here we
hi,
go.
by the way, as we do it.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Thanks
Hey,
Yes.
for
Hi,
Mo.
following.
Jasmine. Hi, Michael. There's Jess.
Hello, Jess, Jacqueline, Joni,
Hey, Michael,
and for
Jess.
our longtime followers that put up with us over the years.
Yes.
See, we haven't scared people away. So,
Jacqueline, Jackie.
yeah, about the show. So, we are resurrecting a show that we once did with Todd on his network at WLTK, Spiritually Imperfect. So, we've been on hiatus for at least a year. I don't know. It's
Wild.
probably been a year, probably more. But
People are saying long time and short time as you're.
long time and short time. It's been a long time.
Yeah, from doing anything like formal and scheduled, we have been on hiatus, I would say for a year. I mean, we do the occasional impromptu, hey, you want to go live kind of thing, but we haven't actually done something that's scheduled and regular for a while. And yeah, we just enjoy doing it. It's so fun to connect, kind of connect with people, learn from each other.
Mhm.
So that's really just kind of what we're doing is just bringing it back with some consistency. We're only going to do every other Friday, I believe. So twice a month. So we don't that kind of gives us some time too. But yeah, I'm excited. We just like to hop on, talk about all things. We're open to questions, to discussions, all things metaphysical. I may not have all the answers. Michael might. I don't,
I'm lucky I
but
remember to put pants
it's
on
fun
before
to
I
be
get out of the
able,
house. I do not have the answers.
right? Right. So it's just fun. It's fun
Well,
to,
I mean,
share,
I,
just to share
I
and
just
to
want to give
learn.
you some credit. You guys are professional psychic mediums, so you do have some of the answers.
We have some. I should
We have
edit that.
fun.
Yes, we do have some.
Yeah. Okay.
But but yeah, the show is really it's about the audience. And when we were thinking about what to do, in the past, I'm not a big planner. I find that when I make plans, it ends up going a different way anyway. So we just kind of decided together that we would just jump on, go live. If we had a topic to talk about, we would talk about it, and then bring in the audience to discuss it. And then we would go to the audience and have them, bring up something. We really want this to be interactive with the audience. We want to be able to just create, a space for people to feel comfortable talking about, these topics because a lot of people, especially just starting out on this journey, don't have anybody to turn to. So it's kind of like we just wanted this space. And on top of that, I can speak for myself. I'm just a regular dude. I'm just a goofball. I come from a military background and a very, type A personality. I've been air traffic controller. So I just want people to know that this is not just for people that have been into spiritual stuff their entire life or had these experiences their entire life. It didn't hit me till I was 45. So again, it's just kind of, we want to make this normal, because it's a part of who we are.
And really, it's just about a show for the audience. Michael's right when he says we want to make it interactive. and just really interact with our people. It's not just for people also that maybe want to become a medium or a psychic or are delving into it, but just anyone that's had experiences, has questions. What is it? What we just like to be able to answer those. We don't always get a chance, at least I don't always get a chance to do that in a session, right? Because we're there for another purpose. But what I have learned just from going out and meeting with people, and doing events, I've done a couple events where I'm just there. I'm just there for questions, not necessarily reading. And they are some of I've learned that there's some of the best, most productive events because they just have a safe space there. They can ask a question, they might feel odd or strange asking otherwise, and so it really starts some dialogue around the different topics that we just don't always get to talk about.
For sure. And you two have like a very unique dynamic where you make people feel very comfortable and, the disarming energy of it all where everyone just relax. Like we're spiritually imperfect. Just relax.
Right.
What's going on? Just talk about it. And
Yep.
right to normalize it because I really love your approach. When I first started, I didn't have any of this world within my life until I was a teenager, and it was very, very not normal. And then as I started getting on board with everything, I'm like, this is actually very normal. Like, come on,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
this is so normal. Like, just everyone just talk about it. Come, just receive help
Yes.
from the people who have, let's say, you, Jen and Michael, you have put in significant work, even though you're saying, hey, we're just regular people. You put in a lot of work and time and responsibility to making sure that you know a little bit about what's going on so you can help other people that just desperately want to know too.
Yes, and I goof around a lot, but yes, there is a lot of work, whether you want to do it or not. It's there, and you
It
have
is.
to you have to I think for me, the one piece of advice I can give if anybody's on this path is, one, you gotta remain loyal to who you are. Don't try to be somebody else. There's already that out there, and for a medium, it's hard, especially when you're starting out because you wanna fit in, and I find the more you stand out, the more people kind of grab you. You will draw your people to you because of your
Absolutely.
uniqueness. Um, and ever since the beginning, it's like I'll take what I've heard, whatever, pick a topic, and I'll just sit and think about it. And does it make sense for me? And maybe I can approach this a different way. And I've done that so much to narrow down the white noise and narrow down the amount of information that's out there. Because for me, the bottom line is I just want to talk to spirit. I want to communicate with spirit. What's the
Right.
easiest shortcut route to that? Because I'm very impatient, and that's what I've done. But yeah, a
You're
lot of
impatient,
work,
Michael?
a little bit. I think it has to do with my short attention span.
Which most mediums have, most psychics have. We have to be very
Yes.
zippy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I have learned that too over the years. Like I always thought something's wrong with me. Like can't hold I'm like, no, nope. Everybody in this line of work seems to kind of, have that. But I think we have to
Yeah, no,
to
it's
be
like to
aware
our
of all the
advantage.
things. Yeah.
I think air traffic control really prepared me for this because with an air traffic
Oh,
control, multitasking, it's like if you're not doing at least 3 or 4 things at once, it's a slow day. But I'm so used to just that, being able to hear 2 or 3 different conversations and be able to keep track of all of them. So it kind of really prepared
right.
me for what I'm doing now because that's literally how it is with spirit. It's like you're listening, communicating, and talking with your client all at the same
Yep.
time. So it's just, yeah, it's crazy.
It's it's true, and it's like our spiritual energy mirrors our physical energy. Not always 100%, but usually. And when I get really tired, or even if I'm just normally and having a good day, I have a very hard time tuning into multiple conversations. I can I can tune out sound just very, very
Yes.
efficiently. So the fact that you can do that, Michael, and if you've had, I'm curious to know your sensory experiences too, where you can multitask. Jen, I can do that with other things. I cannot do that with sound, and that's what I'm always working on with spirit too. I'm like, oh, hold on, I didn't catch that, you know.
Oh yeah, because I remember young days in air traffic control. One of my trainers in the military used to put a radio on in the background, and he'd be like, "Okay, you're going to listen to those people talking over on that corner, those people talking over that corner, and what's on the radio," to help me get to that point where, okay, I hear what they're talking about on the radio. I can tell you what they're talking about, and I can tell you what they're talking about. And of course, it's the same thing with mediumship. It just takes time and
Yeah.
development, but eventually it clicks.
Yeah, no, I do feel like we can take on so much more than we assume or realize.
Mm-hmm.
In certain departments, we do really have to train, but yeah, like in the feeling department, I know definitely it's so sad, I think, in a way. But if I'm going into reading, and sometimes, like, you know, we prepare, but before we're preparing, we're like rushing because we're like, I have to go into the room and meditate, or I have to go into the room and like sit for a second. I need things to be calm. You know, I'm about ready to, you know, open up my awareness, right? So if I'm like rushing somewhere because I have to go into the room and get ready, like my husband, he'll be talking to me. I'll be like, I hear you in my head.
Not right
No,
now.
you can't, like, don't look at me. And he'd be like, oh my God. I can feel his gaze from across the room and stuff. And it feels like literally someone's just poking me and just going like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? And he's just literally going like, hey, do you need help with something? I'm like, I'm sorry. I can't be talking to me right now.
I get the
It's,
cranks before it, so I understand. I'm like, don't talk to me. I just need to be by myself for a minute.
Yep. Yep. I get all of that.
because it's just, yeah, it's just it gets overwhelming, and so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we can juggle that, sometimes not. Apparently Michael's really good at juggling that with sound. But Jen, what do you get, I guess, when
So
whether you're in the reading or before the reading, what is just very
I'm a lot
penetrating?
like you just described, Kelly. I start to feel so mediumship, a lot of my mediumship comes to me through the body. I feel it in my body first, and then it kind of sends a signal to my brain that interprets that, right? And so I get a lot of physical sensation even when I read. So just like you were saying, if someone's looking at you, it almost feels like a physical sensation. I can just feel it, and I can feel spirit start to gather because now my awareness is moving, and so I can feel it. I also like to be alone for a minute. I don't want loud noise around me, unless I'm the one playing the music. Like I'll come up here and blast the music, but if the TV is on or someone's being loud downstairs, I just have to get away from it for a minute to read because I don't meditate before I read. I do like to have sometimes I only get a minute. Honestly, 1
Right.
minute is enough just for me to sit and be quiet and go, okay, shift my awareness. Here we go. But before that happens, I do get extremely sensitive to noise, to people talking to me, to people um wanting something for me, even to my animals, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I just need 1 minute because the
Right.
energy starts to build. Yeah,
That's so true, and you might find that even though, let's say, I've been there too, like, I might just have 1 minute, but as long as I have
right.
one good quality minute, it might feel like 5 minutes because 'cause you're stretching things out, and
Mhm.
you're just, like, deepening, and everything's kinda, like, changing, and you're just like, "As long as I'm here,"
Right.
because, like, maybe 10 minutes before you come into the room, if you just have a minute, you're already mentally preparing. That's why everything feels so loud or so busy or so
Yeah.
exaggerated. And even with your fur babies, you're like, ah, like, no, stop running across the room and trying to get my
Yeah.
attention. I'm so sorry. I'll get you in a second.
Yeah, everything I'm just very hypersensitive and hyper aware. Just in those few moments before I start to read. Now, when I started, I would be that way. I would feel like I had to prepare for a whole day. Like I would be so nervous. I'm like, I can't do anything today because I have to read tonight. Don't I know I can't. I have to read. Like I wouldn't do
Yes.
anything. And it
Yes.
became
No, that's
very crippling. I was like, that's no way to live. Like I can't have a life because I have to do an hour reading tonight. There's got to be a better way. And so then that's when I, kind of started to realize, no, I can go about my day. I can just have that 1 minute. That's all I need. Because I would get in my head about it way too early, and that would take my whole day. I didn't want to do anything because I was hypersensitive all day. So now I'll put it out of my mind until, right before the reading, and then I'll get hypersensitive
These are really
for
like
30 minutes or
real
so.
things. No, these are really real things that I don't think a lot of
Yes.
people talk about enough. And
Yeah.
there's certain days is if so I know with like stress, if I'm stressed out, I have to protect myself and I might have to take a day off, not because of what I've learned, like that I can't do a certain, I guess, task. It's just because I just need to be in a certain state of I have to have a certain state of energy in order to do a good job. And so it's just about like taking care of myself. And
Yeah.
when I first started, I was just like, oh, I have to, right, 30 minutes or like focus the whole day, and get mentally
Right.
prepared. But really, it's just taking care of myself.
Yeah.
And
That's what it comes down to.
And that's
right.
important. That's an important part of your development that I think people need to really pay attention to is what works for you. Yes, when you take a class, the teacher is going to give you tools, but you got to see what works for you and what doesn't. And you got to really discover, you know, just like you're saying, what if you have to sit for 30 minutes, sit for 30 minutes. Me, I just come in, sit down and go, and that I've learned that over time that that's just how I've operated because in the beginning, I was told that I needed to meditate for 20 minutes. And in the beginning, I didn't know any better. So that's what I would do. But I was like, again, impatient. I was like, why? And the mindset for me, when I sat down and thought about that, I'm like, I don't have to do that to talk to a person. Why do I need
No.
to do that to talk to spirit? And it was like the next session, I said, nope, I'm just going to go in, sit down and go. And guess what? Spirit was there. So it's kind of like I proved to myself that that works for me.
Yes. Yeah.
Sure. I will have to admit, I'm so monkey brained at times that a good solid 5 minutes does help me. You know what I mean?
And you got to do
Yes.
you.
But it's not
I know what you
required. It
mean,
just
Kelly.
depends on
Right.
what's going on inside here. Really, it's not
I
required.
get monkey
No.
brained if I spend too much time thinking about it.
And that's true too. Correct. There are times where, that 20 minutes does not help at all. It does
Yeah.
not help at
I
all.
get paranoid because I'm like, oh man, am I going to screw this up? Man, I hope somebody comes in. I hope they don't shut me out. All these voices start going off. So I'm like, nope,
Right.
I'm just going to go.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's everybody has very different things with what they need for their energy, but it just comes down to taking care of it rather than having to have these lofty spiritual practices.
Mhm.
There's crossovers for why things work, but
Yeah.
Right.
we're also different. We really are. I want to say too, so hello to everybody coming on in. Hello, Keith. Bridget,
Oh,
Eddie,
Keith.
there's some good questions in here too. Michael,
Good.
well, this is a good comment, I think, to just talk about in general first. As Michael said, I think sometimes being in this community, we forget people are just finding out about this kind of stuff. So it's great to introduce others to ideas. And so,
Yes.
what do you find that people like are just shocked when you talk about your experiences? Like maybe just this, like, hey, I can, get really overwhelmed by feeling, or I overthink maybe even when I meditate before I go in. What do you find people are shocked by when you just share like, well, this is how it works for me?
I think, and this might bite me in the butt,
Oh,
but communicating with spirit is easy.
no,
I'm
that's
gonna
not
I'm
bad.
gonna add to that, but it literally
Okay,
is.
nothing wrong with
We make
that.
it hard by getting in our own way, but they are here.
Yes.
Like we sit down to do a reading, they're here. They're already here. They're already with us.
Right.
And again, like we kind of just talked about the rituals, they're there if you want to practice them, but you just need to understand that they're here.
Right.
And then it's allowing your ego to step aside and know that those thoughts that come in when you set the intention to channel, those thoughts are not you. That's them communicating with you. And once they make that connection, it's like, wow, it isn't that difficult. It's just learning how to trust what is coming through.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
But there's
Um,
so many other topics, I mean, about that, I mean, we've, all of us have talked to people about this, and I think too, the most famous one is, how do you shut them off? How does spirit bother you all day long? I'm like, not at all,
No.
not at all. If I'm not focused on doing a reading, I'm going about my day. I don't think about the spirit world. I don't. No, that's not even a part of my day. So no, they don't bother me.
Yeah, and
yeah,
I'm much the same. I can't keep it if I keep spirit in my awareness all day, then I'm not functional. Then I can't do and there's so I designate the times. I have a regular day job. I've got grandchildren, I've got kids. So no, it's not all day long. It's when I set that time and I do have what I call study time, which is where I will go and meditate. Or spend time with spirit, or I'll write. I'll automatic write. Maybe I'll read a book. Maybe I'll do whatever the work is. Sometimes it's just going outside and being by myself. If you want to know the truth, it's just getting away from everything. Sometimes is the work.
yes.
But then when I sit down to do the actual work, that's when I will communicate with the spirit world, but not in my everyday life. I couldn't function at my job or go to the store, right? So no, it's not all day.
No, it's not all day. And I think that, right, for that to be a normal thing, that most people just can't get rid of spirit, or, there's just like all these things about how it's difficult, and, you have to be born into it, or this or
Well, we
that. No,
are. If you think about it, we are born into it because we're spirit.
yeah,
We are. We are
yeah,
born into it. We all have it.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just that
And
thought,
it's
and if I
true.
don't jump on it, my
I like
old
that
brain goes
though.
right by it and I'll forget. So
I like that little flip on it, because we're all born into it. Exactly. Like,
Absolutely.
that's really what's going on. And I think that, again, spirit makes us look at our own selves, and, the spiritual reasons behind who we are and why we do things. So, what happens is, I think, if at any time we can't control something that's happening with spirit, it just highlights where we have lack of self-control within our own life.
exactly.
And certain
Yes.
people have common lack of self-control mechanisms. I'm going to have different ones than too. And I'm going to, what you'll learn about, something about me, and you'll be like, wow, that's really easy. Like, for me, sometimes I have problems, like, let's say, um, you know, to stop reading at night, or watching something, or thinking, because like my brain just goes in so many different directions. And someone might say, like, oh, well, that's really easy, you just put down the object, and you go to, I can go to sleep easy now. But the sleeping part's not hard now, but it's just kind of diverting my attention, right? And
Mhm.
but you could give me something else, like, don't eat chocolate for 3 months. I love chocolate, and I'll just be like, okay, sure, if those are the rules, then I won't eat chocolate for 3 months. You know what I mean? So it's like we have discipline, and we have like this then spirally out of control energy in different categories, and then spirit just goes, yeah, you're gonna have to deal with that if you're gonna figure out how to balance your energy and get yourself out of the way when you work with us.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's all, I don't know, I just thought of this, but the thing is too, when you're on your development path, don't rush it. I see so many people that want to get from like student to doing readings within a month. I'm like, no, enjoy the development, learn about yourself, develop the right way, you know, don't rush it. Enjoy the journey because it's never ending. I mean, we're always learning. We're always learning. Our abilities are going to always change and, grow. So, I mean, don't be in a rush.
Hey, Bridget.
Hello.
Yeah, you can't rush
Hello.
it. And development, and I know we've talked about this before, but development is lifelong. Like as long as you're doing this work, you're going to be developing and you're going to be learning. Now, for me, a lot of that is just naturally happening. It just kind of naturally happens for me.
Hmm.
It's not that I set out to, I want to set out and learn this specific thing. It just kind of naturally makes its way into my mediumship. And then one day I'm like, whoa, that's something new. It
Yeah, where are
just
these
kind of,
feelings coming from? That's
yeah.
new.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
know
used to
Michael doesn't
feeling.
like feelings. But what, and I want to give you an example of that, because something that's been happening to me lately, and I talked to Michael about this a little bit, is I don't know if I'm going down deeper into trance when I'm reading or what's happening, but
Mm.
there are moments in time where I'm actually emulating the person in spirit. It's almost like I become them for just a moment. I have their mannerisms. I begin speaking directly to my person, and it's really strange. The other night, I sat down to the piano. My fingers were doing this on a book, and I just kept hearing piano. I don't play the piano, but I sat down and I played the piano beautifully. It was amazing. I will
What?
never be able to do it again.
What?
Because trust me, I tried. I sat down, the fingers were crossing, the pedals were going. My friend was just staring at me. He goes, "Where did that come from?" I
Channel.
said, I don't know, but it was so cool. And then it was gone. I don't play the piano. I've done it with sign language before as
That's
well.
real.
Just start
That
signing as I'm reading. That's just something that's developing for me, that I'm just kind of like, whoa,
I think it
here
just
we go.
proves that their souls merging with yours, and
Right.
your subconscious, you're doing the mannerisms that they used to do.
Yeah.
I've gotten that too during readings where I've done something, I don't realize I'm doing it, but they'll, a client will comment that, wow, he used to do that with his hands or
Yes.
whatever. So again, I think it's just that you're really connecting with that soul,
And I don't
and
set
it's just
out like, just like what you were saying, Michael. It's not like I, before the reading, say, "Oh, I'm going to do this today," or that I study
right.
that. It just, the more that you, I just feel like when you're reading, the more that you pay attention, the more that you trust, and you just let flow, however silly it might feel. If, like
Yeah.
Michael says, if we get out of our own way, we get the best readings. That stuff just naturally develops within us when we stop doubting and we just let it go.
Hmm.
I
You're
agree.
right, Laura, it is.
Journeys have, yeah, the journey is really cool, and I think, even if people aren't interested in being like a medium or a psychic, all these experiences are very real. Like anyone can channel on a dime.
Absolutely.
Sure, it might come in stronger certain days than other days, or more kind of specialized events, because we don't control the things that happened or the way they happen. We just
Right.
are there.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like it's super super real, like what you're saying, with just knowing all of a sudden things and knowing how to do things. um it's true. I mean, when and this is something I can do from time to time too, like as long as I have somebody in front of me, and this is real. We all have gifts. So we all have gifts. And this is a gift that I've learned I have. And it's because I'm just able to touch someone's spirit at times. I didn't know that, you know what I mean? Like I had no conceptualization. I'm just able to merge. And because like I'm psychic too. Um, I'm not great at math, but if you put someone in front of me who's really good at math and they just talk to me for a couple of minutes, all of a sudden everything that was difficult becomes easier in my brain. I go, oh, that's how you do it. Just like
That's
the
interesting,
painting. Go
because I
ahead, go
was
ahead.
just thinking about that the other day. Um, I had to go through this big test, and speaking of math, there was math in it. There was algebra, there was calculus. I had to demonstrate my work. You're talking to somebody that literally failed pre-algebra in high school twice, because numbers and I, and science and I, we're not friends.
Yeah, yeah,
But you know what? The
point of think.
instructor knew how to do it, and he sat with me, and same thing. I sat down after just being with him for just a minute, and he said, "Okay, solve this." And I just knew how to do it. And it was like, whoa, where did that come from? I just know how to do this now.
It's
So I
true.
understand that.
It's almost like they teach you how to think and look, and you're mirroring it. And so all of a sudden your brain starts working like that. Like I tell this story a lot too. I used to have a really difficult time going to sleep, not anymore. But like my husband, he can sleep on a dime. Like if you told him just to like experiment, hey, do you want to see if you can fall asleep now? He'd be like, okay, let's see if it worked, and he would just fall asleep. It's a mechanism that's so easy in his brain, and just me being around him, my brain goes, oh, that's the way you go to sleep. Or even, I'm usually really sensitive to caffeine, but if I'm around people who aren't, my body actually starts changing to know how to process the caffeine even. So I have body changes and
Interesting.
thought changes
Mhm.
because we're just mirroring. And that's what sometimes psychics do, it's just like, oh, my body acts like your body, and now I know what's going on with you. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating.
Should we look at some of these questions?
Yeah, please.
See
We're
what
going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So I like this one earlier. I like this from Eddie. I did my first this is a good conversation. I did my first one-on-one in person. Everything went good. LOL. I'm waiting for the crash to happen. And then question mark, lol. So he's wondering what's gonna kind of happen next. I think
so
talk about it.
are you wondering like I'm doing good? No, the next one I'm not doing good. Is that the context of that?
I think it was like, I'm waiting for when the crash is gonna like he's wondering if his energy is gonna drop because he like I think expended himself,
Oh,
or how that feels for you, or what to expect since now he's like, he did something I guess so different with his energy.
see, readings have never really affected my energy in a negative way. I just, I think it's a mindset too. And I think
Sure.
it depends on how much you work. A teacher of mine once said that we expend a lot of energy when we're going back and forth between our human mind and spirit. But if you just tend to stay with spirit, it stays pretty level the whole time. And I really do think I agree with that. I think we tire ourselves out when we start getting those thoughts of self doubt and wondering when you start having those thoughts, whatever they are, am I making this up or is this real? I think that gets laboring when you're back and forth, back and forth. But I tend to just stay with them and communicate what I'm getting. And I think that just comes with experience too, maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
it does.
Yeah. Well, do you ever
I
feel
hope that
So
tired
answered
Eddie,
it.
when you're at a new job?
Yeah.
Like, do you ever feel tired sometimes because it's like just new energy and you're like, oh, I had to learn all that stuff.
I have to deal with dumb pilots all day. I'm tired every day.
Oh no. Are they stubborn? Are they?
They have a habit of wanting to do not smart things at times. So it's kind of like, hey, that's why I'm there.
It's like, please don't
so
do this today. Go
I
for
just
it.
wanted to address, so Eddie was saying everything went well. He just didn't expect it to be so on. And that's the hardest thing right there. So I understand exactly what you're saying. It was your first reading, everything was spot on. And then afterwards, you're kind of reeling, right? Like, how did I do that? Am I going to be able to do that again? Was that just a one-time thing? What happened? I kind of feel like that's what he's saying about the crash. Am I going to be able to do it
I could
again?
talk about
How,
that because that's exactly what I've been going through. Because Jennifer knows that I've been off since like August because I've just anxiety. And, I've been doing this now for almost, I think it's over 10 years. And
10
for
years?
me, it's just like every time you do a reading, in my mind, every time I do a reading, it's like the bar gets set higher. And
Hmm.
then I'm thinking, I gotta meet that expectation. I gotta meet that expectation. And for me, it just boils down to fear of success and my own personal issues. Um, but I'm really trying to just get those thoughts out of mind. And you just go into a reading and you do the best you can. And you got to live
Yeah.
with that. I really had to learn just when the reading's over, it's over. I don't lament on whether I could have did this better or I should have gotten another piece of information. And again, that's stuff I'm still working on. But I think
I
as
was
long
going to
as
say,
your
I still
intent,
do that.
yeah, I
There
think
are
you just
times
have,
I still do that. It's hard not
yeah,
to do. It's
yeah,
hard not to look back at your reading and go, "Oh, I missed," right? Or
yeah,
this or and pick it apart. And
yeah.
you're right, Michael, when you have a really amazing, excellent reading, then you've kind of set that bar for yourself. And then when the next one isn't, all the readings are are good, but sometimes something happens in one, you're like, "Ah, that was just fire," right? And then when it doesn't happen to the next one, you're kind of let down, even though the reading was amazing and your client is happy. You're disappointed in yourself. You're like, ah, this didn't happen, right? So
It's
Right.
ego.
it's
It's our
just
ego.
right.
Yeah.
It's just flowing with whatever is happening. The reading is the reading. That's the information spirit gave you. You delivered it. And so you did amazing. And the next one, Eddie, the next one's going to be amazing too. We just have to get out of the habit of comparing it to the last one. Or the other thing is we really have to get out of the habit of comparing our reading style or our reading to another medium's. They're never
Oh,
going to
that's
be the
hard.
same.
Oh God, that's hard.
Um, it's so hard, but we are individuals and we are also speaking to spirit who has their own who right they have their own individual personality as well. So there is not one reading that is ever going to be the same. There is not one medium that's ever going to read like another one. You're welcome, Eddie. Keep going. Like the journey's
One
fun. The journey's beautiful. Just
one
keep going.
final thought for Eddie. Eddie, remember this always, and take it for what it's worth. The aha moment of reading may be completely different to your client as what you're looking for. I've had so
Yeah.
many where I've just said, like, out of nowhere, this thought comes in, and it could be the like, I can't even think of an example right now, but it's something I thought was very trivial. I could have ended the reading with that, and they were completely happy. That's all they wanted to
Yeah.
hear. The rest is
Yeah.
just cream on top. So remember, it's not about us. It's about just relaying the message.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'm in the mantra, you never know what you're going to get. You never know what's going to happen. And
Yep.
it usually goes well if you kind of just embrace that mentality. But
Well, you have
yeah,
to, yeah.
go ahead. You
Embracing
have
the
to.
unknown. And it's hard because you don't know. Right? You're just embracing the unknown. You're just trusting and you're going, whatever information comes in, that's what I'm relaying. And sometimes that information that comes in, Michael knows it's happened to us in readings before on lives. There's a pause and there's a, okay, this is going to sound weird or,
Yeah.
oh, do I want to say this?
Yeah.
But we
No,
And
yeah.
do.
It's
We do. And it's always spot on. It's just
it's
when we second guess.
I agree. And so I know, so I'm empathizing with both of you too, because I might be in the energy, but as you know, there's times where it's almost like our natural energy kind of can wave in and out. Not always. Sometimes we're locked in, but sometimes something comes in and a thought will just be you're with spirit. It's not like you haven't you haven't dropped the connection. You'll but be like, oh, did they really say that, or was it really that color?
mhm.
Is that right? Did I hear that right? Like, you start going, or you have to even apologize. There's times where I've broken myself out of a deeper connection because I've apologized because someone has come in, like, like swearing or something. I'm like, I'm sorry, this is not coming from me. You know what I mean? Or, or someone's like laughing about something because that was their personality. They were kind of goofballs and a little disrespectful, but then you're
Mhm.
talking
Right.
about their passing and stuff, so you're like, I have to convey how they feel about it, but at the same time I have to be cognizant of this is such a important and serious issue. So there's all these
Mhm.
things that kind of like go like, how do I handle this and how do I handle, but you have to let it go, and it's such a process. I'm always learning. Yes, I love how you put it. I love how you put it. We're all different, and that's what makes life beautiful. So I know you had a show, No Agenda, before,
And we got
and
trademarked, and we had to change our name.
Not in trouble for.
for real, I didn't
Yeah,
know that
yeah,
story. What's the
yeah.
story with that?
When Todd put it on the podcast channels, apparently somebody had that name, so they basically sent out a cease and desist. So we had to
Yeah,
change our
he did.
name.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. So,
yeah,
yeah, it's funny because the people who sent you a cease and desist clearly had an agenda to keep.
yeah. I know.
It's
And then
funny
I
how
thought,
that
well,
came out of that.
I said, can we just say it in a foreign language? Can that be all right? I was giving Todd all these
Trying to
weird,
think of all
ridiculous.
sorts of ways to get around it, but we didn't.
It's That's funny. That's funny. But I know that when you had No Agenda and before even that, Spiritually Imperfect, there were so many people that responded to your readings. And as I just hear you talk and feel you talk, both of you, Jen and Michael, you really feel like you have like the hearts and energy of instructors and encouragers. And that just naturally comes out within your energy, where you just truly want to help people and give people like some clarity to bounce their ideas off of. And it's really lovely and nice to feel.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and it is. It's just a part of, I think, what we do. It's just helping people understand that this is not just for mediums. This is, everybody has these abilities, and to what level only you can figure that out, and if we can help people to just kind of understand a little bit by sharing our experiences, or information that we've read over the years, that's what it's all about, you know
Bridget,
normalizing this.
I just wanted to say something to Bridget really quick. I did want to acknowledge, I've seen your comments, and I definitely want to acknowledge your loss, and I'm so sorry for that. I also see this, you're absolutely right about that is what our loved ones in spirit want for us, is they want us to, we carry them forward with us, right? And we do that by living our life in integrity, and the way that they lived their life. That's how we get to carry them with us, with that laughter, um, and the good memories, and we get to go forward, and they do want us to move forward. And Wednesday morning is not very long. So what I want to say to you, I really feel like I need to say to you, is you are allowed to cry. You are allowed to grieve. That is such an important part of the process. Please don't skip that, whatever that looks like for you. But I just want to offer my condolences to you. And I didn't want your comment to go unnoticed. We are noticing it. We're not really reading it tonight, but like I said, I just wanted you to know, um, that I am aware of it. I do see it. I think we're all seeing the comments. So I just wanted to acknowledge it, and I wanted to just put that out
He's
there for you.
I gotta say, Bridget, if this is not connected to you, I apologize, but the whole time Jen's talking, the anxiety is built up, and I think it's like your husband wants you to laugh, because right now I'm seeing these images, and I'm just going to share it. So I apologize again, but I don't even know how to say this in a graceful manner.
We were just
Would he?
talking about that. Just say it,
Would he?
Michael.
Okay,
Right.
would he pull the covers over your head and like break wind underneath the covers? Because I don't know why he keeps sharing this thought with me. I'm like, again,
It's just a Dutch
sorry.
oven. Just call it the Dutch oven.
Okay, he's doing the Dutch oven. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but he's like got me just, I'm laughing inside right now because I can't let it go.
See, I have quite often. I know you have. She's responding to Jen, so I'll let you read that, Jen, but or acknowledge it.
It just says, I know he crossed over perfectly. And that's such a beautiful thing. That's such a beautiful thing for you to know and have knowledge of. Bridget says he'd want you just to say it. Just say it, Michael. Just do it.
Okay, he played the fart games, so there you go.
Yeah. There you go. Yep, he would do that. Yep. That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Hello, Andrea.
There's so much encouragement from the spirit world, and I'm glad that you can give that to her, Michael. He just seems like a very fun, hands-on guy. So with Spiritually Imperfect, may I ask how that name came about originally? Why did you then transition to No Agenda originally? So what inspired the original name? Because it boomeranged back.
Well, No Agenda came because we can never figure out what we wanted to do. It's like we don't know, so we're just going to kind of leave it open. So we started with No Agenda, and then and that got taken away. The Spiritually Imperfect, it was like we had to really brainstorm really quick because we wanted to get this going. I don't even remember how that came about, but it was like when it clicked. Oh, my wife? That's right. She
Your
came up
wife,
with
your
that.
wife, yeah, that's how it came about,
Oh,
Sheila.
wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
and,
so was it Spiritually Imperfect, then No Agenda, or is it No Agenda
no,
first and then
no
Spiritual?
agenda,
Okay.
then
Got
spiritual.
it, got
Yep,
it, got it, got it, got it.
yep. And when she said that, I was like, wow, it makes complete sense, because
Yeah.
Bridget, he was a shit. And he
Yeah,
knew
yeah,
it.
that's being acknowledged. I was waiting for a moment.
Bridget, can I just throw out one more thing? Again, I apologize for reading. I didn't intend to, but this is the second or third time I heard this thought or this feeling. He wants you to know that he did not feel pain. He wants to really impress that upon you around his passing. I did not feel pain. So he wouldn't let that go. So I had to say it.
And hopefully you can
And
understand
how it
that,
always happens. So now I'm
Bridget.
seeing a horse as Michael's talking.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you could take the connection with the horse or not, Bridget, but Michael, as you say that, I see horse. So I'm gonna leave that. Just gonna leave that there.
That's great. That's great. That's excellent. As Bridget's taking a moment to respond, there's just so much love. I want to acknowledge everyone to again coming on in. Courtney Lopez is saying hi. Grace Grella, she's a medium herself. Hello, Grace. Tina, hello. Hazel,
Tina's a
oh, that's another
medium.
medium.
Hazel's a
Sending love.
medium. Hello, Hazel.
Hey, Hazel.
Hello,
Keith
Celeste.
again, sending love. Celeste, hello, Celeste. And Celeste, we're going through different comments. There's a lot of them from different channels. So everybody is not able to see all the comments because they might be on just one channel, but we can see all the comments coming in. That's why you can't see all the comments, Celeste, because YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. They're coming from different avenues. Okay, Bridget says, I know he was so peaceful looking when I found him, and our oldest loves horses. There you go. Both of you are touched and tuned in. Our oldest also has gifts. There you go. There you go. So that's the horse connection, and she understands with what you said, Michael. That's fantastic. That's beautiful. These shows are so special. Right now we are just kind of coming together, announcing. You guys are launching on Valentine's Day too, which is cool.
So what's really weird about that is that we were in South Dakota on Valentine's Day last year, right?
Yeah.
We were, I remember.
During a snowstorm, stuck in the casinos in
That's
Deadwood.
right. That's
Haunted
right.
Deadwood.
Yeah.
Well, did you ever see this a year from now? Speaking of being psychic.
No.
And we've only worked together, what, 2 years now? Is it 2 years?
Yeah, it's only 2. It's more like 5.
6.
I was gonna say, wait a
5.
second.
No, it's more like 5. Time flies when you're having fun, Michael.
Yeah.
It really does. It really does. And it's just I could keep having you here all night, you know what I mean? It's so easy to talk to both of you, and there's so much love from the comment section as well. And
And we appreciate everybody here. I mean, we truly do.
Oh, absolutely.
we do. So on February 14th, if you can join us again when they launch, and it's a bi-weekly show at 4:30 Pacific. And is there anything that I guess comes to your heart or mind before we just take a moment to say goodbye and thank you to everybody?
If you've seen our show before, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into.
Yes, you do.
We keep it lighthearted, and I always say it's like I rarely take things serious, other than we are channeling. Yeah, that's serious. But the thing is, it's like I think we just like to perpetuate what Spirit wants for us. They want us to enjoy the time that we're here because it's so short. They don't want us crying in our beer. They just want us to enjoy, even though it's hard. we carry that guilt that, you know, they're there and we're here. But I think just more than anything, they just want us to still, you know, it's hard, but get up every day and just try to have a good day. Try to laugh. You know, it's okay to laugh. It's okay to move on, you know, because this is temporary, very temporary.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Jess. We're glad to be back too. I'm excited.
Me
Yeah,
too.
I'm excited.
There's
Good
so
night,
much.
Eddie.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying good night to Eddie.
Good night, Eddie. I was going to say,
Good
I'm
night, Eddie.
excited too. And a lot of people I know are going to be coming in. I've actually just seen in the comments, people have been asking you, you know, if you're going to have your show again. So you're going to be helping a lot of people and really guiding a lot of people. So I'm honored for you to be on a Sacred Spiral Network and having your own show. Thank you very, very much for, you know, everything that you're doing for people and showing up. So thank you. I'm very excited as well.
Oh, and thank you
Thank
for, you know, being brave enough to put up with us.
That's easy. That's the easy part.
This is just the intro show, Kelly. You haven't seen the show yet. Wait till the 14th.
I've seen your shows. I like them. I've been watching your shows.
No, we're thankful to you, you know, to have us on here, and you know, hopefully, you know, we just start expanding, you know, and everybody again just normalizes this and understand that the bottom line is this is temporary. Some days are going to suck, but there's a purpose for us being here, and let's just enjoy it together.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you would like to say, Jen, before we close? That was beautifully said, Michael.
No, I just wanted to thank. I see a lot of I don't get to see all of the comments obviously, but I do see a lot of familiar names and familiar faces popping up, people that have followed me or followed Michael or followed both of us for quite some time. And so I just want to say thank you. Thanks for still being here. And thank you to all of the new people that, you know, there are new names on here too that I love seeing. So just a big thank you to everyone that's put up with this for so long, and all the new ones that are about to, right, Michael?
Oh my God, you have no idea what you're about to. It's like the Twilight Zone on steroids.
The Twilight Zone was a very beloved show, so I can keep spinning this very positive. With that said, thank you, everybody. We will see you on just shortly. We will see you on the 14th for February. Tune on in, and we have a bunch of other beautiful shows launching. So stick with us as we're giving announcements. Anytime Michael and Jen want to come on, they're always welcome. They'll be sharing.
Well, thank you.
For real, yeah, just say the word. But anytime between now and February, I'm sure you'll see updates to sharing about their new show, and it's coming all together. So for tonight, take care. We will see you soon, and enjoy your Friday weekend, everybody.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Night.
Night. Take care.